Hi guys. Yeah, it's been a while. If you saw the previous video, you kind of have an idea of what happened. So, I got pizza. A brand. Yeah. So, I guess it's story time to bring you up to speed on what the hell happened. Okay, so on August 30, I kind of woke up in the morning before my alarm was meant to go off, which was rude, but, you know, it happens. And anyway, had to rush to the toilet because I thought that I had food poisoning of some description. Needless to say that, yeah, sorry if it gets graphic, diarrhea, vomiting, at the same time is never a good experience. I don't recommend it if you can avoid it, but if you have to, make sure you have a receptacle available. I did. I was lucky. I didn't have to mop up the floor or anything, which would have made a big mess. So anyway, it kind of led to I felt a pain in my chest, but not like I've done first aid courses and we're taught the classic symptoms for heart attack. Chest pain, tingling in your arms, or your fingers, sorry. You know, you feel like in multiple places, clammy skin, all this other stuff, and usually pass out. Well, all I felt was like about here, about the size of the palm of my hand, a pain that felt like I'd pulled a muscle, because just previously I ended up throwing up and almost didn't have something to throw up into, so I was about yay far away from making a complete mess in my bedroom. Not good. So anyway, the pain started, and I thought, oh crap, what have I done? Anyway, I'm laying there feeling worse. Got the chest pain, I've got the nausea, I've got the not trusting of the other end thing going on. And I ended up calling work and saying not coming in today because, you know, these things are happening. And they were fine with that. So, laying there in bed feeling very sorry for myself, I decided, okay, I'll make a doctor's appointment because they might be able to do something about this chest pain, which was painful enough to not let me sleep, but not painful enough to be of major concern. As I said, it just felt like a pulled muscle, so it wasn't that bad. Anyway, got to the doctor's, and got to see my doctor. She started writing out scripts. I mentioned the chest pain. She kind of took a little bit of interest in that, measured a couple of things on me, and then I had to go. She dragged me down to, they've got a nursing station. So, you know, it's like a hospital beds kind of thing where they can do other stuff. Yeah, other than in the doctor's surgery itself, you know, the doctor's office itself. So anyway, get down there. They hook me up to an ECG to see what my heart's doing. Notice that it's going a little bit funny. And that's when she says, do you mind if we call you an ambulance? And I'm like, okay, whatever. Dunno, go for it. So anyway, she ends up giving me 3 aspirin tablets. Um, yeah, 3 aspirin tablets. Um, and then the ambulance guys arrive, like in record time, which I thought, oh, that's pretty neat service. And they hook me up to their machine. They spray some stuff under my tongue. Supposed to give you a whopping great big headache. Didn't. Fried pizza. Um, didn't give me this headache they were telling me about. Still had the chest pain. They waited 5 minutes. They gave me another shot of this stuff. Still no headache. They ended up calling up a hospital and sort of telling emergency what they saw. Okay, cool. I'm just laying there thinking, okay, it's attention. I kind of like it. I like the attention. This is good. Not realising what the hell's going on. Not realising that I was actually going through a very life-threatening problem at the time. So, anyway, they bundle me up onto their stretcher. I get wheeled out of the doctor's office. Didn't have to pay anything. Sweet. Yeah, I get wheeled out in front of all these other people, and it's like, bye. And shoved into the back of an ambulance, and then raced off to hospital. That whole lights and sirens bit, which I thought was pretty neat, even though I was getting bad jokes and comments about the guy driving and being a bad driver or whatever. But there was no problems on my end. I was like, this is all good. The guy in the back with me put a cannula in the back of my hand, which, yeah, those things hurt if you've ever had one. Because they're like a freaking bigger needle, so they hurt a little bit. And anyway, he started giving me some other drugs and stuff, which was like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm fine with this. He was monitoring my heart as well. Noticed that the rhythm was just a little bit out. We get to the hospital, and he warns me and he says, you're about to be swamped with people and questions. And I'm like, cool. Can I get one of those curtain thingies around me so I don't have to see people as I'm going into the hospital? Like celebrities do, or things like that. Nah, that never happened. So, anyway, get wheeled into emergency. Quite rapidly, actually. Water, good for you. Get wheeled into emergency. And get asked all sorts of questions. Of course, there's an exchange of information from the ambulance drivers and the people in emergency, asking me questions, hooking me up to their machines. Putting another cannula in because there's a trust thing between the ambulance guys and the hospital. So hospital's got its own rules, ambulance has its own rules, and hospital prefers theirs. Fine. So, after a whole bunch of questions and people checking my heart rhythm, I get wheeled up a number of floors to what they were calling the cath lab. This is where it gets fun. Not that it wasn't fun already. So, I get, I'm on a stretcher, laying down kind of thing. I've got a great view of the ceiling, that's about it. Get wheeled into an elevator, and have a bunch of people kind of, around me at the time. Get wheeled straight into the cath lab. I got no idea what the frick cath lab is. It's a small operating theatre where they use x-rays to, look inside your chest mainly. Anyway, get in there, do the old slide over from the stretcher to, from the bed to the actual operating table. And course, blankets come over, then the blankets get removed, warm blankets get put on, which was nice. Yeah, it's like, oh, this is cozy, because it was a bit cold in there. Need more pizza. No. Pizza? It's supreme. It's not bad. So, the fun part is, you have multiple people around you. Because it's an emergency situation, they have to act fast. And when I mean fast, I mean they don't mess around. They don't go, oh, I'm just going to do this to you. No, no, no. They're like, lift this, do that, pull this, shove that. Start attaching sticky dots thingies with clips on them, you know, to different parts of you. And they basically had defibrillator pads, one attached up here. You know, they're the big oval shaped ones that you put onto someone who's actually having a heart attack. They had the defib pad up here, and then they had one down on my side here, and then they put these sticky dot things on different locations around me, even my leg, which was like, okay, cool. Hooked them up to their heart monitor so I could hear my own heart beeping, which was like, yay, I'm alive! But not very well. They... How do I put this delicately? Basically, my top got ripped off, carefully, so just slip it off. My pants that I was wearing somehow very quickly ended up down around my ankles, and a nurse started shaving, yeah, down there. I was like, okay, I must have left my dignity back at the emergency room. Can someone go pick it up for me, please? Oh, crap. That was a surprise and a half, is having somebody else do that in a room full of people, and you're like, ah. But within minutes, I felt like, well, as soon as this lady had shaved down there, I felt like somebody else had come in with a sponge and started basting everything. You know, my legs, the groin area down there, with iodine. I was hooked up to a drip. I was given some drugs to relax me. And next thing I know is that a needle was going into my groin. I didn't really feel that at all. However, that's when they put the catheter in, and again, the needle must have been like lidocaine or something. Yeah, a painkiller, a local anaesthetic or something, because I didn't feel a damn thing. And I could see up on the screen, the TVs that they had in front of me, pictures of my heart, like x-rays. I could actually see whenever they injected some stuff in there, I could see the veins and the arteries and stuff of my heart beating away there. I was like, oh wow, that's really neat. I'm just going to stare at the ceiling now and let them work. So it turns out there was a blockage in the artery that feeds the left-hand side of my heart. Not the aorta or the ventricle, whatever the hell they call it. The actual arteries that feed the muscle of your heart. There's a right and a left side. The left side had a blockage in it, a blood clot, and they tried to suck said blood clot out, but had very little luck, so they did what they call an angioplasty, and that's let's talk more pizza. So what they did was, is they have this wire. On the outside of the wire is this little balloon that they can inflate and deflate at, you know, just whenever they need to. So they fed that into the center of the area that was blocked, inflated the balloon so it opened up, and it opened up the blockage to allow blood to flow through. And they said that some of the blockage broke off and went deeper down into the ends of the artery kind of thing, so it may have damaged some of the actual heart muscle itself. So once I was out of there, dignity not intact, a hole in my femoral artery, that's the artery that runs down to your legs. Yeah, I was in a hospital ward, in a room by myself, with two nurses helping me, and I was not allowed to move for 4 hours. So I had to lay there flat for 4 hours. Couldn't drink, couldn't do anything. All I could just lay there was make jokes, talk, to the nurses that were there. And they had to come in and check the site of the entry point of the angioplasty, just to make sure that it wasn't bleeding, because obviously, if you don't know, femoral artery is a main feed from your heart, and you can bleed out in 5 to 15 minutes if the hole's big enough. So it's bad thing happened, but didn't happen to me, so I was good. The good news is the pain in my chest had gone by that time that I was in that room. Nom nom nom. Pizza. So, I didn't realise it at the time, but now that I've had some recovery time, which is taking a while to recover completely, because, yeah, I was probably pretty close to losing half of my heart, which would have been a very, very bad thing, because then I wouldn't have any more to share around with people. So, needless to say, I'm going to have to spread this out over a few videos, because it's going to get very interesting. That rapid intervention by the hospital staff, well, definitely saved my life, because, as I said, untreated, it could have been much, much, much worse. Because they treated it when they did, it's not as bad as what it could have been. And it's all because I felt like I'd pulled a muscle in my chest. Yeah. I ended up spending about a week in hospital, by the way. So what I'm going to have to do is split this up into a few parts. Otherwise, this is going to be a very, very long video. And, yeah. I want to eat my pizza, because still got lots of pizza left. It's not too bad. Yes, I'm a sick puppy. It's got anchovies on it. I can tell you that the days after they opened up that blockage, my energy levels dropped to virtually nothing. Like, for the rest of the day and about half the next day, I could barely stand up outside of bed, because I just didn't have the energy. In fact, getting out of bed to stand up was almost like instantly, I need to sit back down and have a quick nap before I can try that again. It was bad. A little bit embarrassing too. But I have to admit, the staff where I was, absolutely fantastic. They knew all, what was going to happen before I was going to happen, before it would happen to me. Like, they would tell me, like, you're going to feel like crap for the next few days. And on there I was like, yep, okay, sure. I go to stand up, and I was like, ooh, no, we're not doing this. We need to sit back down. So they got to see me with really bad bed hair. And I had to apologise a number of times for, I haven't shaved my legs in a while, I'm so sorry. And they were like, yeah, that's fine, that's fine. But, yeah, I survived a heart attack. And I can honestly say, it's really funny, the books that they give you to help you, one of the things that they say is, you have to quit smoking, you have to quit doing drugs, and you have to quit doing this, and I'm like, I don't do any of that. I don't smoke, I don't drink, sure as hell don't do drugs. Yeah, I know my life's pretty boring. I eat food, yeah. Nom. But I can say, I know I'm switching topics fast. The staff were incredible. They work as a great team. I had a portable heart monitor on me at all times that was sending information back to their nursing station. And a couple of times the leads came off, and I had, like a couple of people come straight in and say, "You okay?" To check on me because one of the leads come off, and I was like, okay, because I looked up at the screen and I could see it was all flatline, and I thought, oh shit, I'm dead. Nope, still breathing. But the thingy, the three lines going across the screen were all flat, and I'm like, oh shit, a lead's come off, and I reach around wherever, find out which one it was, because they had them down here, they had them under here, they had them down here as well. So I had to figure out which one it was that came off, reclip it on there. It was like, oh good. Unfortunately, that happened when I was in the shower. Butt naked, sitting on a chair because I couldn't stand up to shower. And all of a sudden, it was almost like 3 or 4 people came into the room to see if I was okay. And I'm like, dignity left back at the ER, it's all good. No, I'm fine, I'm still good. One of the leads has come off and they're like, are you sure you're okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. Because one of the other weird things is that every time I showered, my heart rate shot up over 115 beats per minute. Which apparently was what it was at when I went in. It was really bad. Like, I was resting and it's up at 115 or 114 beats per minute. It's like, that's not good. But, yeah. Talk about an experience that you don't want to have. And they did say I was too young for it to happen. But, what you probably don't know is that I have a blood clotting disorder. A genetic thing. That means that my chances of developing a random blood clot somewhere in my body and it travelling through and getting stuck somewhere is about 30 to 40% higher than normal people. Just means I've got to be careful on long haul flights and that sort of thing. But I am alive. I am freaking exhausted. In fact, I might have another piece of pizza and go pass out or lay down for a bit because, yeah, this is very draining. I can sort of walk around a shopping centre a little bit, at a slow pace, which is, eh. The other funny thing is that I was telling somebody, it's one of those invisible illnesses that the only visual effect that it's affecting you is the fact that you don't have the energy to go racing around a car park or, walking around a huge shopping centre, at a decent pace or things like that. That's the only thing that kind of slows me down a lot. But it's really, it's just invisible. The only thing I got to show for it was, I got, Where are they? Oh yeah, that'd be right. They'd be on the... I got 2 scars on my wrist. And I'm not showing that one. I got a scar... Well, assuming, because I can't see it myself, it requires me to bend in a position where it's like, yeah, no thank you. Sorry. Yeah, I've got 2 scars on my wrist. I bruise very easily at the moment because of the medication they've got me on. And yeah, that's the only visible signs. And if I go to show someone the bruising, it's like, gotta lift my top up, and yeah, we're not doing that in public. People can just take my word for it or have a look at the photos I took, which I'm not sharing. Sorry. They're bad. Yeah, the photos are bad. Yeah, so the funny thing is, cholesterol levels are fine. Everything else is fine. But randomly I just developed this blood clot and it got stuck in the artery in my heart, which knocked me on my ass. And has done so for the past, well, since 30th of August. September's almost over. I'm exhausted, sorry. And I'm probably going to be off work for another 4 weeks. Hopefully not. Because the funny thing is that my brain is saying, we're good to go. And my body goes, no you're not. Not yet. Just chill, bitch. Chill. Hell, even driving is hard sometimes. I wasn't allowed to drive for 2 weeks after it. It sucked, because I kind of wanted to. I was like, but my car, it's right there. I could just put the key, turn, sit. I'm sitting down. What's wrong with it? Yeah, no. I can say that, yes, even driving is exhausting. Not to the same degree as walking, but yeah, just the whole driving thing. Okay, so, my friends, for now, I'll say goodbye. Well, not really goodbye, because I'll be back in the next video. In the next video, I'll explain some of the other procedures and stuff that happened while I was in hospital. And also my recovery is slowly getting better. It's just a matter of building up my endurance and stuff like that again so that I can go back to work and last out the day without having to pass out for a nap. Or, you know, anything like that. You know, being physically able to do stuff. So, until the next video, bye for now. Want some pizza? I've still got plenty left. No? Okay, I'll eat it then.